stuff they teach you in these real estate schools. And it's really like, oh, I got the inside scoop, and hush, hush, you know what I mean? Keep this stuff to yourself. Don't talk about it. We know, it's going to be high times in green grass because there's going to be all these foreclosures they created, okay, by dumping all this money on the market that Bill Clinton allowed by allowing the expiration of the Glass-Steagall Act. Okay, they're impoverishing the people. They're creating the divide. They're creating the wealth and income disparity. They're creating poverty. They're creating genocide. Bottom line, end of the day, these are huge hypocrites. They want one set of standards. They want plenty of prosperity for themselves, but for the rest of us, forget it. So everybody's going to get taken. All those people that have been getting the long end of the stick, it's all about to hit the fan. They're not going to be getting the long end of the stick. This is that process of hitting the wall. Okay, when the social welfare system says, look, yeah, we're responsible. It's your fault. You're part of the government. So you blame the people. Don't blame funding. Say, no, you're going to make funding. Okay, or we're going to just give these people permission to start homesteading wherever they damn well choose. Because they're taxpayers too, and they deserve representation. You can't tell a man he doesn't have a right to exist. He's got a right to exist. He's got a right to at least try to survive. And part of that is building a shelter. Okay, wherever he damn well feels, unless you've allotted land where people could go freely and homestead, you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't tell people that they don't have a right to exist and there's no government help when the government is the one that caused the problem. Okay, we shouldn't need all this social welfare out there. We need it because there's people that have invented poverty. Those are the culprits. Those are the cause. Those are the ones to blame. The poverty is a symptom. The poverty is an effect. This is what they want. Okay, this is what they want. They want us all poor and desperate and needy and dependent on them. They want to be the God of this world forever, but it's not going to work. Or in cahoots with that God. It's the God of money, the God of power and control and violence. That's the God of this world. This battle between the flesh and the spirit, it's not just the carnal stuff, okay? It's the worldly stuff. It's the riches and all this stuff that is so pernicious to the soul and spirit. Last week I was talking about examples of black men in history, or at least, how Americans had been accepting blacks ever since, we had guys, a much better example of what I'm talking about is Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, Americans to this day practically worship this man. He's an American treasure, a precious icon of American history. This is the guy that stood up for everybody, okay? And this is what Americans accept. That's the true American out there. And if you can't love a guy like Martin Luther King Jr., okay, you're not, in my book, you're really not an American. So, there is no racism in true America. There might be racists in America, but, remember how we've been trained by these people. They don't talk about the fact that we're all one race, the human race. We're all one family, the family of man. And many anthropologists think we all descended from Africa. So, in a sense, we're all African with different shades of skin. So what's this crap about trying to divide us? That's what it's all about. It's just, don't look at us. Don't look at the real problem. People that are causing the poverty, look away. No, it's about race. That's why you got all these problems, right? No, it's about the people that are intentionally, deliberately impoverishing you to steal the wealth of your nation, and their hope that they can do it in perpetuity, but they're figuring out they can't. They can't. They won't succeed. These are evil people, and they're going down. They're going down hard and fast. I think we're at the end of the road, folks. I really do. I'm not sure we're going to see a Trump presidency or a Hillary presidency. I think what we might see is Obama staying in office. I've said it before. I'm not the only guy out there saying it. But, things are getting pretty sketchy. Things are getting pretty sketchy, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a seer, but I'm feeling the same angst, I think, that so many people are. This sense of impending doom that, this beast, this spirit of Satan and all the workers, all these deceivers therein, they're getting really perturbed. They're getting very upset at the prospect at starting to figure out that they're going to lose, and they don't like it. So, they're just going to act out like a bratty little kid that doesn't want to go to bed at night. I mean, they're just going to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, and they're going to get theirs. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like because, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of faith in humanity's ability to fix this thing. We're just not understanding it enough to fix it, you know? We've got to understand it. And I just don't think there's enough people that understand the imperative nature of sound money. How this is the solution to all of our social ills. This is what's going to bring universal prosperity gently, without hurting even the status quo. Okay, the status quo is going to get even richer as their currency increases in worth. They can go out and buy more possessions, more houses. So sound money doesn't have to be a threat to anybody, but there's nobody talking about it. It's just a process of economic progression, okay, is that your currency, if we are making progress as a civilized society, is supposed to go up in worth. It's a natural thing. It's not forced. You just don't allow market manipulation. You just don't allow fascism and crony capitalism, okay? And it happens naturally like it did with the VCR, my favorite example, okay? I mean, your VCR dollars have gone through the roof. Now, wouldn't it have been nice if your housing dollars did that, huh? Wouldn't it be nice if our food dollars did that, huh? And your gasoline dollars, your automobile dollars, okay? On and on, your electricity and water, all that stuff, especially the stuff you really need, okay? Which is housing, which is food, which is water. You want those things dirt cheap. I mean, if they're going to manipulate markets and play some psychopathic crony capitalist fascist fascist game, then do it with a non-essential human need. But they won't because they can't get away with it. Nobody's going to go for it. They've got to get you scared, okay, threatened, insecure, and that's what they're using the money to do. That's what they do, okay? So we're all being owned by these people. All the landlords that think they're on top now and they got the big end of the stick, that's all coming to an end. It's all coming to an end. It's just part of this process, hitting the wall, man. You know, we're entering a new age. We've got a whole age that's ending. That's, you know, multi-thousands of years. This is like since Jesus walked the earth. And that's what we're coming to a close. This is what the Bible says. Anybody that calls themselves a Christians out there, then they're prescribing to the same philosophy because there's no ambiguity, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts in the Bible about this thing. There's going to be this renewal of all things when this age changes. And death itself is going to be swallowed up in victory. That's what's written. That's what all Christians are supposed to believe in, the resurrection of the dead. Everybody that ever lived on earth will be resurrected and be judged. Okay, that's what's going to happen here. And we need to get ready for it. It's going to be good. For those that hunger and thirst for righteousness, it's going to be a good day. But for all the rest, it's going to be that terrible day that's spoken of. It's called both the great and terrible. Paradoxical as it sounds, you know, there's some that are really upset with the world in the state it's in, you know, and people going along, hey, well, my portfolio looks good, and, you know, I'm still glowing about that. The light in my eye is darkness, though I don't know it. I mean, there's all these people that are deceived. They're going to end up going to a place they didn't expect because, oh, I was a good person. I was a nice guy. But you see, they don't know the truth. They're nobody. God owns us. Anything we can ever accomplish or achieve, whatever we are, all glory goes to God. You know, to what avail is self-righteousness? Okay, that's putrid. The righteousness of men is as filthy rags to the Lord. Okay, it's not about that at all. It's not about ego. You know, and so much false pride out there. People want to take credit for this or that. And I think, God Almighty, who gave you your brain, man? You know, who gave you your ability to imagine stuff? You know, people got to, you know, stop being the brute beast that you've been trained to be by these gosh darn establishmentarians, because they're a bunch of swine. These are the ones Jesus said. He said, you know, be sure you don't throw your pearls before swine, because they already know they're swine. Their fruits are rotten and stink to high heavens. They know what they are. And they're a murderous gaggle of ruthless thugs, okay? ISIS and the New World Order cabal are one and the same. They created this monster, okay? They knew by stirring the pot over there in the Middle East, stirring up this hornet's nest. These people have always had factions and skirmishes, disagreements. There's, you know, the Shiites and the Sunnis and all the factions there. They've been fighting each other for you know, for centuries and centuries, okay? It's none of our damn business. That's what they want to believe. Muhammad is their guy, and we got to respect that, and just, believe that he's a noble character. I mean, if most Muslims you meet are nice people and they are of noble character, upright and decent people, well, then we've got to assume the other guys, the murderers, terrorists, jihadists, are just, they're pseudo-Muslims. As many as they are, because this is a religion with well over a billion people. So, there's going to be a few bad apples. And look, in Christianity, there's always been psychos in Christianity as well. So, anyhow, this is a big deal, what we're facing. And we've all got to wake up to the reality of, the changes. We've all got to try to prepare ourselves as best we can and help others to be prepared, because big changes have to come. People are saying, you know what, we understand why we're being impoverished, and the pretext is to save the planet. Okay? And while these people are, if they say burning CO2 is the enemy, and that's why humans are an enemy to the earth, they're huge hypocrites, because they've got the carbon footprint of 10,000 men. So on hypocrisy alone, everything they say is made invalid. Okay, that you teach best by example. So if they believe what they're saying, then they ought to live like the homeless. Don't get in a car. Don't burn any electricity. Nothing. Okay, because it's bad for the earth, which is a bunch of bull. It's like a grand deception or something. It's like biblical. That's what it is. There's this great deception that's taken over. And if you don't believe in climate change, it's like, good God, of course I believe in climate change. Change is the only constant in our climate all through history. No 2 days have been exactly the same. And it's always been trending and changing. So, don't give me a bunch of bull. Let's get real here. But anyhow, I know, a lot of times when I'm talking, I digress and I lose my train of thought and stuff like that. And there's not much I can do about that. But sometimes I like to go back, say if I, because I don't edit my stuff, I look back at a video and I go, oh my gosh, what was I talking about there? How's anybody going to know what I'm talking about? But, about these people, being the quintessential example of that passage, Jesus said, don't, throw your pearls before swine, okay? And if you believe somebody's swine, you've got to deal with them in a very tactful manner, and that means you've got to do it prayerfully. You've got to turn to God and say, God, help me, because I'm scared, man, dude. I love you a lot, but I need you, man. I need you even more than I love you, and I love you more because you fulfill my needs according to your riches and glory, that you're an all good God, never bad. All of us should ponder the character of God every day. He's the exact representation of every single good quality, characteristic, and attribute. He's never two-faced. He's never inconsistent. He loves us dearly. He wants the best for us. He doesn't want to invade our privacy. He wants us to have it our way. Okay, but we've got to figure out what that means. We've got to figure out how roundly we've all been duped and deceived from birth. Your parents were steeped in evilness because that's the system they know. It's all about money. That's what runs this world. And who could tell you anything different? It's a monetary-based unreality. It's all a pseudo-reality. It's all a bunch of bull. We need to be free, and the captives must and will be set free according to your Bible. That's the way it's going to be. So, what role is money going to play in a world like that? Okay, a perfect world, an ideal world. That's what we need to get ready for. Ask yourself, because it's really just a concept of concentrating wealth. It's really just trickery. It's really just deceit. Okay, there's no excuse. I mean, if we were going to make progress on this front, okay, we would have done it by now. But what are we doing? We're going the opposite way of what we need to do. Okay, we're people just getting more insecure, more scared everywhere, worried about surviving because, the funds are drying up for Section 8, so you could expect more housing to, homelessness to increase, and it's going to be put more and more on the backs of the private charities and all this, when they're not the ones that cause the problems. Why don't we at least make people pay, so sue them civilly? Sue the Ben Bernankes and the Alan Greenspans and the Janet Yellens out there in civil court and say, no, you're going to pay for homelessness. All of you are going to pay. Make it a class action suit involving many defendants, and get them in there. Say, no, you're the bastards that caused the poverty. You fix it. You pay for it out of your pocket. No, you're not taking it out of the treasury. No, we're not going to socialize the debt and privatize the profits into your pocket like you did with the 2008 banking bailout slash takeover.